love libraries, hate Tories. It's the Crossing Swords podcast, everyone.
Dun 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 da da da. I know we were workshopping a new theme song, and
is that what you've come up with after all?
I'll be honest, I just threw some.
I don't know how long it's been since we said we were going to work on a new theme tune.
To quote Steve Carell's character in The Office, Michael Scott.
Yeah.
He said sometimes I open my mouth and even I don't know where a sentence is going to go.
No.
And it's sort of like that.
I feel like that should be the tagline to the podcast, shouldn't it? Just under Crossing Swords. Sometimes we open our mouths and we don't know where
and
it's
we
going
can
to go.
ask our listeners, open your mouths.
Yeah, I mean, I
Or
ask
does that
you to
cross
do
the
that.
line?
I ask you to close your eyes and open your mouth a lot on this podcast.
It's happened a lot recently.
It has, yeah. I
lot.
decided to take a break from it. I felt like you were starting to feel uncomfortable.
It was weird.
Well, once you've a third time put your knob in someone's mouth as a joke, it ceases to
loses
be
loses its initial appeal.
I still find it funny, but you were starting to get a bit upset about it.
But just there's no variation.
Well, you started
Do you know what I mean?
No, but it's a classic. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like I know your knob quite well though at this point, you know.
Yeah.
I want something different.
Well, I'll just cover it in something different next time.
Yeah, like just a little chocolate sauce, a little
hardened chocolate.
But the thing is, it's got to be sweet, hasn't it? You wouldn't put like sriracha on your, you wouldn't put hot sauce.
That's gonna hurt.
Or even barbecue sauce.
You're not
or
gonna put,
something.
like,
You wouldn't put mayo,
jalapenos,
would you?
would
You
it?
wouldn't put mayo on your.
I think you could.
I think it's a bit.
It depends
Sweet,
how
it's
fat the
gotta
girl
be
you're sleeping with is.
just anything.
Because some girls, like Monica said, mayo, and it can't be the lighter kind. That's just not mayo.
Okay, so we're mayoing up our dicks.
I'm not saying you have to.
No,
I'm just saying it's an option.
For the sake of science.
What about guacamole?
Again, I don't think it should be savoury. I think it should be sweet.
So
that's my view.
You're dipping it in honey?
Honey's all right.
I don't know.
I'm not going to do it. Like I'm not putting it in
it
Hive.
would actually be sanitary.
Yeah, I'm not putting it in Hive. I'll wait till it's been collected.
As long as you don't attack the queen, your knob should be completely fine in a hive.
If you put my penis near a queen, shit's going to happen.
I've heard that.
That's the natural order of things. I can't.
It's why you and the late Majesty were never seen in the same room. Just
couldn't handle it.
No.
Couldn't handle it.
No. Famously.
I'd have been knocking them out left, right and centre.
Yeah.
Every gala.
Yeah. You'd have just had her legs up,
And I mean, imagine...
It's a really disrespectful way to talk about our former monarch.
Imagine the entendres when she gets the sword out and knights me. I mean, my goodness.
Wouldn't it be the other way around? That would be a nice...
That would be sort of the after party.
That would be role play, wouldn't it? I'm the king.
Your Majesty.
Yeah. She definitely did that.
See if she can hold a sword better than Penny Mordaunt. Although Penny Mordaunt's never held my sword.
That's not what I've heard.
You've been listening to the rumours I've been spreading, haven't you?
I read your blog.
At least someone does.
Yeah.
You and Penny Mordaunt's lawyers, I got a very strongly worded letter.
I can imagine. Yeah, when we were implying that she's a big fan of seamen holding swords.
They were not happy.
No, they weren't. But she's also a politician as well, so.
But she did carry a sword, and she has
really well.
She is publicly associated with seamen. Yeah. I don't know what I don't know what the issue is.
No, I think it's just the way we say it, perhaps.
Well, look, I think this is a nice way to get into it because we've done the political stuff a few episodes back. Then we did the kind of heavier stuff of some geopolitical situations that are happening in the world.
Hashtag Free Palestine.
So now we're going to just be a bit light, a bit fun, and a bit silly. Fair?
Yeah, absolutely fair.
I think that's what we're going for today.
Yeah. But saying that, there is one thing we were going to do on this episode because at time of recording, was it yesterday or the day before? We lost another legend.
Oh, we did lose another legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, a few days ago.
We did.
A couple of days ago. Should we do it?
Let's do it. You want me to just press it straight away? No.
Oh, so what do you want? How do you preamble into that?
Normally you say who it is. You don't just.
Oh, okay. So we're going to give a rip.
Because otherwise, who does God know?
And I think Sir's appropriate on this one.
Yeah.
Sir Bobby Charlton.
Yeah. Absolute legend. And it's a word that's overused in football, but he is a legit legend.
Yeah, he's done it all. He's won it all. And I think the most impressive thing was that he came back and won everything after surviving the 1958 Munich air crash.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's most
I think probably
impressive.
His biggest achievement was being a Man United player people liked. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, there is that, even in his latter years.
But no, everything that's come out since says that he was just an absolute gent.
A gent.
And he'll be sadly missed.
He will.
So Now that's the point where
That's where we give him the rippers.
Just for future reference, when we're going to do a rippers, the rippers comes after the testimonial, and then we move on. We should have done this off pod, but you know what? I don't care. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Right, and that's all the morbid stuff over and done with, and condolences to his family.
Should that not come before?
Probably should have, but it just felt like a nice, classy way.
There was no need for me to say that, really. You criticised me, and I felt like I had to criticise you. I didn't like it.
It was palpable, the tension in the room.
It's well noted that I don't like criticism.
Well, it's part of the Tory persona you live by.
Yeah, I don't mind giving it, but I can't.
Yeah,
I can't take it.
You're just like, what? And even when someone comes with fresh facts, you're like, no, I don't remember saying that.
No, I don't.
No,
there's no way that's factual.
No.
Fake news.
Random question to start us off, and it's been on my pod notes as a question to ask for a little while, but it's just never come up. So I'm just going to throw it in there straight off the bat. We might have even discussed it before, but I can't remember.
I was so worried when I was looking back through old notes. I was like, "What haven't I?" The problem is I haven't deleted the old stuff.
I know, I do the same.
So I was like, "Fuck! Did we ask those questions?" Anyway.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if we've done this a long time ago, but I know we haven't done it recently. And that's what do you think about women taking up? Like, if you were to get married, would you
what do you think about women?
How do you feel about a woman taking your name?
Personally, I'm a bit torn on it because I think I've, as has she, grown up with my name. I wouldn't necessarily want to lose it, but I wouldn't want her to lose it. So I'd happily either keep our names, and be married.
I don't know if I could hyphenate.
Or hyphenate.
No, I'm not down with hyphenating.
I'm not a fan of it.
I'm fine for other people to do it.
I'm more than happy to just keep our names.
That's fair. I think that's probably the fairest way to do it.
And just becomes Mrs. Whatever her name is.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I feel like there's a part of me that think, traditionally I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be nice. And I'm fortunate, Leanne's happy. She wants to take my surname.
Well, with a name like hers, I mean.
Yeah, it's difficult to live through that one. But you can't.
She's made it. She's made it
now.
She's
when we
out the other
eventually
side.
get married,
that stag do is going to be a legend. Wait for it and keep waiting for it because I'm still fucking waiting for it.
The payoff will come eventually.
Motherfucker! It's going to be so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It better be.
Honestly, about a few months ago. I came back over the notes that I'd made with some of the I think it was with Ash. I think we might have thrown it up to Lindsay. Shout out both Ash and Lindsay.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's going to be so good. It's going to be off the hook.
Yeah. Speaking of Lindsay, I'm excited. Me and Ash are going to see her at the end of the week.
Send my regards.
I will indeed. So yeah, just get away for a bit. It'd be nice.
I'd say send my love, but I've seen how you do that.
She would enjoy it.
She doesn't need a trip to the doctors.
Well, she always comes back for more. That's all I'd say.
That's what's the shocking part.
Yeah. But no, going back to the name thing, I feel like the traditionalist in me is like, oh yeah, it'd be nice if she took my name. But I think if Leanne was vehemently against it, I don't like the idea of hyphenating because ridiculously I just want to keep my name. And that's the thing, I would never consider taking hers. I don't know why.
The question is obviously, like in my scenario, so we just keep our names. What about the kids? If you have kids, whose name do they take?
I'd probably want them to have mine. But at the same time, some kids don't like not having the same name as their mum. So I'd perhaps start them off as mine, and then if when they were older they want to be Leanne's surname, then yeah, by all means. I'd probably feel a little bit disappointed if I was being honest, but it's not my...
You got to butter them up for the whole 16, 17
to make
years
sure
of their
I'm
life.
the favourite, yeah, absolutely.
You need to tell your kid, babe, let's not tell him off. Let's just let him run free.
Let's let disciplinarian, which I think is how it will probably end up.
Yeah, let's just let her. Let's let her cook. You know what I'm saying? Let's not get all up in her grill.
Let's not get in her way. Okay? Let's let her fly.
And then the second she's like, do you know what, Big Daddy Big, I'm gonna take your name. And you're like, listen here, bitch. You've been acting like a right little, the last 18 years. That stops now.
I'm putting you in your place. I'm in charge.
I'm the daddy.
I'll be like, I'm sorry, please don't hurt me.
Please take care of me in the home.
Yeah. Please keep it nice and clean for me.
So yeah, I think that's how I do it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah. Have you got anything for me?
You mean on the pod or off the pod?
Both.
Okay, I mean, off the pod.
Did you bring the package?
For the only... Yeah, I've got the package.
Yeah.
Snugly tucked up.
Jake always delivers.
In a nice pair of...
Unlike DPD.
Fresh boxers.
He just gives you that D.
All about the D, none of the PD.
On social dating stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm better than DPD. I just
thing is, depends which D you want. Because if you go for the last D, you can say no DP, but DP does mean something in the world of sort of like Urban Dictionary. What DP?
Oh, DP.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant the actual
like,
name of the company.
No DP, just the D.
Yeah.
The DP comes later. We'll bring in a third. We'll take him out for dinner.
Well, you're just hanging it out there as an option, technically, aren't you? It was an accidental
hanging
option.
It out there, perhaps an ironic sense of the word, but use of the word.
Look, I can't help it. I'm just a sexual man, Jake.
I've seen. I'm aware.
You know
what
we need is a sound bite. We're just innocent men.
We're just innocent men.
I still don't understand what happened in that clip.
She just lost it, didn't she?
Yeah.
The thing is, you act like I don't get correspondence from the podcast lawyers.
Yeah.
With regards to you being a sexual man. I'm more than aware of that.
Like, you need to ask him to rein
you need
and
to
you're
tell
like,
him.
it's not possible.
Look, you saw how Savile ran riot back in the 70s.
Put me in the same boat as Savile. Is this
no, because yours illegal.
Mentioning you in the same breath as Russell Brand?
I cannot confirm nor deny this allegation.
I'm throwing it out there. We discussed off pod. You're becoming more of a conspiracy nut week by week.
Get in there.
And there's allegations about you and women. So
who's a dirty Matrix man now? I've told you, Brand. You can't discuss them until the police have completed that.
And you've done a bit of stand-up.
Yeah. Who's a dirty Matrix man now?
And you do presenting.
I do. And I don't get... I do get consent.
Sometimes.
The next step. It's the next step in the career path.
Yeah.
It's the next logical step.
But you choke them though, right?
Huh?
What? Sorry.
Shall I tell you about a couple of fun little things that have been happening?
Please do. Otherwise I feel like I'm going to get us in trouble.
So, the Philadelphia Phillies are a baseball team.
Not to be confused with the Eagles.
No, they're a football team.
Yeah.
Or the 76ers, which are the
hockey
basketball team.
Damn it.
Flyers are the hockey team.
Damn it.
Come on, man. You need to up your US sports games. You need to up your US sports, okay?
Yeah.
I can't be carrying us on all the fronts here.
Fuck America.
Wow. I feel like it's been a long time since we've mugged off a whole group of people, so it's nice to kind of get that one back. That's a throwback to the early CrossingSwords days.
Yeah, well, we just disparage a group of people.
En masse, yeah. So they actually they denied entry recently to an emotional support. You've heard of emotional support animals, yes?
Yes.
Fun. They just kind of like help you de-stress.
I know, like the army in America, they have emotional support animals, dogs that are trained to fly with vets that are coming back.
Yeah. Well, this particular young lady had an emotional support gator.
Okay.
The Phillies refused entry.
Well, it's obviously not an official emotional support.
They were
animal.
like, you can't have a fucking alligator. But you know what?
Right.
Fans loved it. Around the ground, fans
you
hugging
wouldn't
it.
If you had a kid with you, though, would you?
They were like hugging it, posing for pictures and shit. They loved it. It was a well chill little gator.
It's all shits and giggles until someone giggles and shits, bro.
Yeah, but it's an emotional support. It's not just like a gator. It's an emotional support gator. It's an emotional support.
It's
gator.
like you don't come across emotional support lions, tigers, and bears. Do you know what I mean? You don't know. Like, the risk with that gator is that at any moment it might just decide to take someone's head off.
Well, it's only a little one. Not gonna, what's he gonna get, a baby or something?
Oh, fine. It's gonna get. Oh no! It killed a child. I wonder if Israel will kill it.
It was just. Why you bring it down? We were having a nice, fun chat about the gators and the emotional support gators. What if you were to have an emotional support animal? What would you have?
Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice way to get a free dog.
You wouldn't go out for a really out there animal.
No, just a dog.
Well, just to prove you wrong, I'd go for a tiger.
They're not going to give you one.
They would give them.
You're going to have to fund that yourself.
I will be the
Good luck getting a tiger
What's
into
the bloke's
country.
What's the bloke's name? The dismal fan. I will never financially recover from this. What's that guy's name?
I have no idea.
Where he was like the Carol Baskin.
Oh, Tiger King.
Yeah, what's his name?
Oh, Joe something.
Yeah, Joe Exotic.
That's
whatever. I could be the new Joe Exotic.
Please.
They can take my tiger. Like, this is an emotional support tiger. You can't take this tiger.
Nothing more for you to move out to Texas or to somehow start a lion reserve in the local area around here.
In the Oaks.
Start shagging the men that work for you, for straight men as well.
Wait, why have I got to sleep with the guys that
That's
I work
what he
with?
did. You wanted to be the new Joe Exotic.
And
then when you end up with some sort of poor woman in your crosshairs that you decide she needs to die, you're going to end up in prison.
I feel like it would be quite genteel, though. It would be very Midsummer Murders over here, wouldn't it, if I set it up down here?
Are you going to go... What accent are you going for, though?
Or should I do an accent?
I feel like you should.
Well, what accent should I go for?
I
do declare.
Deep Southern.
Now I'm going to tell you, boy, I did this tiger. Here's my tiger.
And it's just going to confuse a lot of people.
It's for the emotional
stuff. It's like, yeah, he was.
Don't question me. I'll get the tag on you.
You've got that same thing that woman had, that she got hit on the head and started speaking Chinese. Well, not, but I like know, with but the accent.
She's that's just the funniest thing.
What?
It's like you couldn't picture something more racist to come out of. Just
that was my Geordie accent, by the way.
It sounded it. I was going to say, is that from the northeast?
Yeah, I'm feeling naughty today.
Told you, stop getting us in trouble.
It will be me.
Today it will. Yeah. Normally I'm worried about getting us in trouble.
To be honest with you, I was shocked at the lack of reaction to the last episode. Do you know what I mean? Particularly, I put the short out.
I was honestly expecting to get kicked back from that, to be called like an anti-Semite or something.
Didn't. That was a pleasant surprise.
So anyway, I've done that. Do you want me to do another animal story while I'm on the animal stories?
You might as well. It's on brand.
It's a very good animal story, I think. So obviously in the summer, Greece was particularly struck by some horrendous wildfires.
Yep.
And large parts of the plains and the lands were absolutely decimated. Well, as a result, some of the animals, in particular a herd of sheep, were really struggling to find anywhere to graze. Their little local patch was gone. So they wandered further afield and further afield before they found something that they could consume. And what they found...
Cannabis?
It was 100 kilograms of cannabis. They absolutely decimated a cannabis farm.
Well, first off, whoever was running that cannabis farm was not like good on security at all.
Imagine you open the door.
Those sheep and you see amazing time.
You see these sheep high as fuck listening to their Rolling Stones LPs and just like having a great time. And you just think... No one is going to believe this. No one is going to believe.
Well, he's now
my crop's got 8.
Well, he's got to try and explain that to the gang members that are
growing
that weed. Like what happened to it? The sheep ate it, mate. Like, honestly, I don't know what to tell you.
All of it, and my tax returns. Got the lot.
That bloke's getting killed. That's the dark side to the story.
The bottom line.
The farmer's dead.
Ha ha ha! Sheep ate some pot.
But the farmer's been murdered.
He's been killed by a gang.
I bet you if you were to look into it more deeply, there'd be a mysterious death.
No way am I going around poking in that business.
No, we don't need that. We don't need that smoke.
I don't speak Greek. That's going to be a big barrier. I feel. Oh yeah, I mean. I mean, great. I can ask the gang.
I can insult them.
I can ask them for the bill. Do
Malaka.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, did this guy just ask for the check? Trying to take the piss. Yazoo!
I don't think I've ever heard a Greek person go Yazoo.
Yeah, Yasu.
It's Yamas.
Yeah, Yasu and Yamas.
I've never heard Yasu.
Yasu, come on, man.
They don't yell out Yazoo like they want milkshake. Do you know what I mean?
They should, though. Milkshake's good.
No, they're average Yazoo, in my opinion.
What do you think?
Low tier milkshake.
What's your top tier milkshake?
There's an M&S one where it has chocolate chips in it that melt as you're drinking it, and it's just...
I just like a bad boy one from a cafe or a restaurant.
Well, yeah, but that has to have actual like ice cream.
Yeah, actual cream and thick.
Five Guys milkshakes are up there.
I've still not had a Five Guys. I know this comes up a lot on the pod, but I've still not had a Five Guys.
I haven't had one. When the last one I had was when I went to Brighton with Leanne, and it was good. But I didn't actually have a milkshake.
Maybe one day we should have a Five Guys.
It's expensive.
And record.
You're going to like gasp.
Well, that's it. Half the recording of the podcast can just be me going, I cannot believe how much I fucking paid.
Oh, you're talking about having a Five Guys on pod?
Yeah, or before or something, you know. Well, it's just an idea.
Yeah,
I'll float it out there. I'm just
as a special for the people.
As someone who doesn't do ideas. Yeah, because
the
last time I floated out the idea of Five
it.
Guys, and obviously we got confused. You thought I was asking for the restaurant, and there was like a whole thing.
Yeah, whereas you just literally wanted 5 men.
I just wanted 5 men.
Yeah.
5 men just before the pod, just to kind of get me nice and juiced up, ready to go.
Look, whatever gets you there. Whatever gets you here in front of the mic.
That's the thing. Can one guy get you there? Maybe. Can 5? Definitely. One of them's going to do the job.
Statistically, it's going to work.
I'm just playing the odds.
Yeah. I'm smart.
That's all I'm doing. Yeah. Just playing the numbers.
Hedging your bets.
Hit me with something. Not literally. Figuratively.
There was a really good documentary I watched in the last week that I would recommend. It was called The Great Amazon Heist.
I saw that.
Oh, did you watch it?
That was so good. The twist at the end, I'm not going to give it away for anyone watching it, was fucking brilliant.
No, I think we should give it away. Or should we say, like, spoiler alert, skip ahead 5-10 minutes?
5 minutes, let's not get crazy here. Please.
But no, it was brilliant, and it was by a guy called Ubar Butler, who I've seen before. He does, like, viral videos and stuff, but incredibly well done and very clever.
Very smart. Yeah. Very smart.
Yeah, and to, like, get one over on Amazon, and then... What was good about the whole way through when he's telling the story, he sat in front of a lawyer.
Yeah, it's intercut. It's all intercut with this lawyer.
And he's this super posh, successful lawyer that's almost like annoyed that he's there and listening to this ridiculous story where he's like, why would anyone be this stupid to do this?
Yeah, especially when he's pitching him, he's like, I'm going to sell Amazon drivers piss as an energy drink. I'm going to get it up the charts. It to
number 1.
And the guy's sitting there being like, it's not even disgusted, he's just like, the fuck did I get dragged out for this shit?
Yeah, and he fakes identity, goes to work for Amazon to get footage of the shitty working conditions in there and how people feel. And the lawyer at the start site, you would have signed, like, did you read the contract they made you sign? There would have been an NDA in there and stuff like that. And he was like, I didn't read any of that.
But it was at the end when he gave it to the lawyer and said, can you just read that and tell me what you make of it? And he went, well, in my professional opinion, it's a load of shit. It can't actually stop you doing or saying anything.
No.
And then he kind of went, and how much would it cost, like an Amazon worker, to go and get that kind of access to that information? He went, well, probably an employment lawyer probably charge you £300 an hour for that.
Yeah.
And he just goes, well, can I just thank you for giving it to everyone for free? And he just goes, he just has this big grin on his face, and he's like, fuck you. And I think he actually says, fuck you.
Yeah, he does.
But yeah, it's a nice, and then the whole tax haven thing.
Yeah.
Very clever.
But yeah,
very clever.
Yeah, so I would highly recommend it. It's on YouTube now as well, but it's also on 4 on demand.
I had no intention of watching it, but whatever I was watching finished.
And it came on.
And this isn't a euphemism. I was stroking the cat.
You were stroking your pussy.
Stroking the pussy. It came on. And after the first 10 minutes, I was like, I'm invested now.
Yeah.
I want to see this. And when his niece is ordering just a shit ton of knives and rat poison and stuff.
That was so bad. He gets these 2 little girls.
4 and 6.
Using Alexa to, with like their names on the account and stuff, to buy knives, rat poison, saws, hammers, all the dangerous, and none of it gets asked for age verification.
Either at point of purchase or at point of delivery, never.
No. And it's just, they're so excited, these little girls.
Knives, order knives.
Yeah, and she's like, can I take it out the cover?
Yeah. when they turn up and they're like, they're our knives, we ordered them, and it's like, no, you can't have the knives.
Yeah. And then he takes that to trading standards, and because he said with all of the items he purchased, he would have done them for about £1 million if they all go.
Yeah, it's about £5,000 per infringement.
Yeah, so he did over 200 so that he could get them to £1 million. Because he was like £5,000 to Amazon's nothing, and that's if it even gets to court.
No, but it's very good, very clever.
But yeah, he hits them in a few different places, and it's a very good watch.
Like I said, there is a twist at the end, so do stay for it.
Yeah, and I think
it does make the whole thing worth it.
I think these sort of documentaries are quite necessary, because I don't think we really, the normal person understands, you hear Amazon aren't paying their tax, and you hear they've got poor working conditions, but you don't really understand it until...
And I can't remember whether he said it on the episode, or whether he'd said, I saw him say it in an interview afterwards, but he said quite a lot of the workers were saying, you've only been brought in to dilute the workforce because of the union vote coming up.
Yeah.
They said, because there's a union vote coming up, and it will pass kind of thing.
Yeah.
If they've got X amount of,
they had to have a certain percentage to get their unionised, their union recognised officially.
And that's all they were doing, they said.
Yeah, they hired hundreds of people in all fulfilment centres, thousands across the country, to make sure that they could dilute the numbers down. And they said, you watch, as soon as this is over,
you'll be gone.
All of them will be gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, but they ended up catching him working in there, and he managed to get out.
No, it was good though, really good.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't think we've really ruined the.
No, I don't think we have. I don't think we have.
No, I think it's very clever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit me with something else. Hit me.
Why can't James Bond die?
Why?
Yeah.
Well, other than the fact that he did, and I didn't like it.
Bit of context. Me, Ash, and Jake were discussing. I think it was the most recent Bond film.
Yeah, No Time to Die.
Yeah, where spoiler alert, James Bond dies at the end.
Disgusting.
And I actually said I didn't mind that. I think at the time I didn't like it.
Can I just say, on reviewing, it doesn't offend me as much as it did the first time.
And I think at that moment, it was like one of those series of films, it was a bit like Avengers for me. Like, they were films I always watched with my dad, and then he'd passed away, and it's quite embarrassing. We went to see that film, me and Leanne, No Time to Die, and they'd done up the cinema me and my dad would always go to, and it was amazing. The experience was amazing. I really enjoyed the film, and I was just really emotional afterwards. We went to Pizza Express, right? And I was just really emotional. And
God, you must be the only bloke to have cried in a Pizza Express.
I then started crying.
Did you sweat?
No, I started crying in Pizza Express. And I can't even remember if we ate. I know we ordered a drink, and I think we were about to order.
I'm so sorry, my nose is just...
That's all right. I've been coughing and stuff. We've both just got colds. It's what's going around at the moment. So yeah, I'm sat in Pizza Express, started to cry. And twice the waiter came to, or the server came to come over, saw I was
just
upset,
walked away.
and then was just like, I won't come. And then I felt really embarrassed, and like Leanne wanted to talk to me about it, and I was like, I'm crying in public. I don't really know why. And I was like, I don't really want to talk about it either.
Maybe we can dissect it later.
Yeah. And yeah, it was just, but then having gone back and watched the film, I actually quite like that ending.
I still wouldn't go as far as to say I like it, but it doesn't upset me as much as it did.
Yeah. But why is there a gut reaction that he shouldn't die?
He's timeless.
And James Bond, I don't know, I guess it comes from the extreme stuff he goes through and survives all of it. Like, we've seen James Bond surf
he's safe.
Tsunami.
There's a line that you never cross, and it means that he can always continue, because now we can pretend it's the same actor, it's the same character, but just a different actor. Now we can't pretend it's the same character, different actor, because it's been a reset.
I think that adds to the story a little bit, in the sense
I don't like it.
Like, I like the theory
because you can choose
the person James Bond, and like, it's a conspiracy theory, I guess, to a degree. That
it's an alias.
It's a moniker. It's a identity you're given when you take that role. Sort of disproved in that last film, because someone else gets the role of 007
and doesn't get called James Bond.
And doesn't get called James Bond, partly because she's a woman. So that would be weird to call her James Bond.
No, but I just don't like... Yeah, it's your choice that way as well, whether you choose to believe it's a long continuity or whether you think it's the same. Whereas here it takes it away from you, and it's like, I understand why they did it for the story they were telling.
Well, that's it. Like, I felt like it was such good symmetry, like, because he never got the happy ending he wanted at any point. So for me, for him to know, like, it's the bittersweet moment of his daughter's going to be safe. He knows she's his daughter now.
It would have been...
he's kept the world safe.
More bitter, less sweet, if he'd have just had to live in misery knowing that he had a wife and child out there that he could never see.
Oh, no, so I think that would have been fucking horrible.
Yeah, it would have been bleak, but it would have fit the tone.
I guess so, but I know, I like the cut off. He's gone.
I did it. I still don't like it.
But yeah, I think they're probably overall, I mean, we've talked about them before, the pros and cons of the Daniel Craig Bond films.
We did a whole Bond episode in the build-up to No Time to Die.
We did.
So you can go back and listen to that, and it is a really good episode. I'm biased, they're all good, but that one was actually a really good episode. Really fun to do.
What do you think they're going to do with it next?
They haven't even... I don't know. All I know, they haven't begun the process.
There's nothing going on, is there? I don't even think they're really deep into finding the next Bond either. I'm sure they're
Which is good, because it gives me time to train.
It also makes you nervous though, because like there's lots of good actors out there that could do it that are perhaps slowly getting closer to they're probably a bit too old to do it now.
Yeah, because they won't do the same. I think they'll do is where Daniel Craig came in and he was an older Bond. Particularly because they spread it out over the last film was 2022.
Old
well, that's what I was going to say.
That's what I'm saying. You need to be young when you start.
He was 2006 when the film came out, so he was probably 2004 maybe when he was cast.
Then well into he must have been 50 in the last one.
So I think they'll go young, and I don't think they'll hang on as long this time. I think they'll refresh it.
2 or 3 and then.
Well, they might do even 4, but they'll do them in relatively quick succession. I think they'll plan them. Well, so before they've even cast, they probably know what the next 3 or 4 films are going to be.
Maybe.
I think.
Maybe.
I mean, you don't want to go too far that way because obviously I've been reading a lot. I've been reading a lot recently about Disney.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is obvious that they're absolute scumbag of a company, but Kevin Feige and Kathleen Kennedy have both. Neither of them have come out publicly and said because they don't want to risk their job.
Yeah.
But it's heavily reported that they were both pressured into during quote unquote Investors Day, whereby all the various branches of Disney launch until they tell you this is what we've got coming up, and it's to hype up the fans, but it's also really to hype up investors.
Yeah, to make them know that
to get some money coming in.
Yeah.
Apparently, they were both pressured heavily into releasing information for projects that they were nowhere near releasing. You know, just these are projects that they were like, we don't even necessarily know we are going to do this, but it's like, you know, get it out there, push it out there. Yeah, they were really pressured into that. So you don't want to be that for Barbara Broccoli. You don't want to be an Eon or whoever still has it. You don't want to be that.
I think they co-own it, don't they?
Or them an MGM or something.
Yeah. But speaking of Marvel and rebooting, they've announced, although apparently it's been an ongoing thing, that they plan to reboot the Marvel universe.
Yeah, they're kind of using the current...
But keep some of the current squad?
They're going to keep... They're using the current phase and the multiversal arc of Kang to kind of do a soft reboot.
But apparently it's going to culminate in Secret Wars, allegedly, where apparently Hugh Jackman's already signed on to be in that. Yeah,
there's reports of Tobey Maguire being in it and stuff. Yeah,
which I was quite surprised by. But I struggled in my head to be like, so how are they going to reboot it but only use some of the previous... But then the guy I was listening to was like, they're just going to do it, it's in another universe.
Yeah.
So you won't be seeing the Earth we've been watching this time. It'll be another Earth in the multiverse.
Or I guess they'll do it where they'll do like a reset on this universe.
Yeah.
And then it'll be... Some bits will have stayed the same, but other bits will have changed.
Because apparently they're auditioning for a new Iron Man, for a new Tony Stark.
Do you know this because you've had the call?
I wish. I think I'd be a good Tony Stark.
Do you think that would be a good one to do an open audition for, wouldn't it?
Yeah. How do you feel about the fact that Robert Downey Jr. said a big influence on his character of Tony Stark was Elon?
Undoubtedly, the ego.
Yeah.
And the design. But he's done like a successful Elon.
Yeah.
Do you know if like
he's what Elon would like to be?
He's ambition and skill, whereas Elon's I think just more ambition and then con man skill.
I mean, I'm really skeptical. I mean, I love Iron Man as a character. I like Tony Stark as a character, but the only way I've ever engaged with that character is Robert Downey Jr. And he absolutely, if it wasn't for him and Iron Man 1, we wouldn't have had everything that came since.
No.
It's what it was all built on. So that's a big... I can't think of anyone off the top of my head who would...
I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be all right.
Look, yeah, by and large, their casting is normally quite good.
Mm.
So...
No. Covered.
Yeah.
Covered. I think I've got one more story before questions. Before question time. Goddamn phone requires my fucking thing to my thinking. So... There's something that's good. There's a story and a clip that's gone viral in the last couple of days. Okay. And I think we should give our take on it.
Is this what I think it is?
I think it is.
Is it a certain chef?
On the High Performance Podcast with Jake Humphries.
Would you like the clip?
Have you got the clip?
Of course I've got the clip.
Oh, yes, please.
Bro, I'm a legend. What do you expect?
Sorry. You know someone who called themselves a legend and we know that's not allowed.
Yeah, but for me it's actually true. All right, guys, this clip's going to be about a minute long.
It's so good.
But it's
so good.
We were young, we were stupid, and we were skint. I remember going to ask her father if I could borrow 20 grand for the deposit for a flat that we fell in love with. And I thought this was all going well. Lunch is good. I'll pay for lunch. And I said, oh, by the way, about that deposit, Tan and I, we've got half of it. We need the other 20 grand. I'll pay you back in a year. He said, okay, here's what I'll do. I'll have another lunch with you when you sell your Porsche. I thought, you fucker. But you clever fucker. Here I am driving around in a flash fucking 911 and we didn't even have a fucking house. Didn't have a flat. Didn't have a roof over our heads. It's the best advice he ever gave me. Sell your fucking Porsche. I did sell it. And 10 years later, I went and bought it back.
Same car?
Same fucking car.
Yes.
Now, we've all been there. Struggling around, you're struggling to get your money, your rent's due, you're struggling a bit. And you know what? It takes someone wise to come along to you and go, hey man, why don't you sell your Porsche? And you know what? It does. It changes everything. Suddenly you've got the money.
Yeah.
I was driving around in a £20,000 car and we had a £20,000 deposit, but we were skint.
Do you know what baffled me when I first saw that clip?
All of it?
And, of course, all of it. But it was why they chose that clip. Like,
maybe that was the most relatable thing to come out of it.
Well, no. I actually watched that podcast today because I was curious. I was like, I want to know what the tone of that pod was. And he's a weird guy because he doesn't do many interviews, and particularly for that length of time.
He's done hot ones.
He is incredibly driven, passionate, hardworking. Everything he has is off of the work of his own back. He's not been given any of it.
And selling his Porsche.
Yeah, but he earned, that wasn't given to him, that Porsche. Do you know what I mean? So and in that podcast, he talks about all of the hard work he put in, how there could have been moments for a lot of people with what he was going through where they would have just, particularly working in the high stress kitchens he did in his younger days, that other people just gave up. And so there was loads of moments in that podcast.
But that's the one.
But that was the one they
maybe
chose,
they knew
which confused me even more.
Well, maybe they knew it was so unrelatable that it would go viral. Perhaps.
That's the only explanation for it. But yeah, that out of context really makes him look bad. And it's literally right at the end of the podcast, that moment, which was another clever thing that they did.
You fucker. You clever fucker.
Yeah.
Bro's rolling around in like a fucking...
But what he doesn't mention before that is
car
he
worth
has owned a flat before that as well.
Yeah.
So so he must have spent the money he's had from that flat on the Porsche.
Or on a restaurant, or both.
Well, he did, he said, every time he opened a restaurant, he extended himself in terms of finance so ridiculously. And he said part of that was what drove him to make it successful, because it was you got no fucking choice. It's that or bankruptcy. I lose everything. So, it was quite a good podcast to listen to. And I'm glad I did. But yeah, that doesn't... And particularly what's going on at the moment, it's not...
Cost of living crisis right in the middle.
And to be a guy that serves the higher echelons, his restaurants aren't in general.
I mean,
the masses.
I found it quite informative because I've been cutting back on I haven't been having any avocados.
No.
And I've sort of been thinking
Have you got rid of Netflix?
I got rid of Netflix. And then when
you still haven't bought a house?
Well, when he went to sell the Porsche, it was oh, you fucker.
You
clever fucker.
So you just need to sell your Porsche.
Best lesson he ever taught me. I'm going to sell the Porsche and I think I can buy the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I've still got one in reserve.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, he goes on to say, after that moment in the podcast, that he actually finds it embarrassing to talk about the cars he owns, because considering what he's come from to what he has now, he finds it embarrassing. So yeah, I having watched the podcast, sort of felt for him a tiny bit that they did him dirty.
They have done him dirty. Yeah, they've gone for virality. And
I think
you're
right.
Dirty.
I think they knew exactly what they were doing, and I think they did it because the thing is, I sat watching it to be as soon as I've seen that moment and I know the context, and I'll stop watching it. And then, of course, it was right at the end.
Yeah, yeah.
So I ended up watching
and that's probably part of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, no, it was quite well done.
But those clever fuckers.
But it's everywhere at the moment, and people are memeing it to fuck. The thing is, I actually quite like Gordon Ramsay in general.
So do I.
like Kitchen Nightmares, Nightmare Kit. It's all fucking fantastic. He does the hotel one. Like my favourite thing he's ever done was the 2 slices of bread either side of a woman's head, and he's like, "What are you?" And she just has to say, "An idiot sandwich."
I like his relationship with Fred Sirius and Gino D'Acampo as well.
Although they've sort of split up, haven't they? Gino's done a wobbly apparently.
Has he?
Yeah, he's like, "No, I won't do it."
Maybe it's because Gordon's always front and centre.
Maybe
it's always about Gordon. Gordon.
Well, he's the biggest name out of the 3 of them.
Yeah.
So,
but I can understand for some people why that would grind them up.
Yeah. Well, being probably a bit of an arrogant Italian, attractive man, used to being the centre of attention, to then not be.
And
the
also, you think like you might be. And I
like Gino. I'm not slamming Gino.
You think you might be the biggest name, but in this trio, you know, we should all get equal footing.
My actual favourite out of the 3 of them's Fred.
I love Fred. He's Fred. So up for anything.
Yeah.
He's so when you see him in like first
his daughter's a gold medal Olympian, isn't she?
Yeah,
at diving.
And when you see him in like the first dates and stuff, and he does a bit of sommelier and he does a bit of like, you know, and he's brilliant at it, and he's so calm and composed, and he gives us this calm aura. You would know he's basically like a rugby lad.
Yeah,
like if you just give him something and say drink this,
he's like, yeah, okay,
and go there naked, he'd just be like, yeah, fine.
Yeah,
and then he'd go, come on, we're all doing it.
He's probably like, no, one of the only Frenchmen I like.
Strong statement.
Yeah, I'm coming hard. So you are coming today,
in.
Bro. I'm going in
French
hard.
And the Americans, bang.
Yeah.
Shall we?
We shall.
Do you want me to do a question? I've got questions now.
Oh, please.
Okay. So, if you could add drugs, and I mean fun drugs, or a drunk category to just one Olympic sport each tournament, what would it be?
Sorry, you're going to have to give me the second half of that again. I got distracted. I apologise. So, highly unprofessional.
The Olympics are coming up.
Yes.
And you've been tasked.
I've got to pick a sport that I could do.
No.
Okay.
Not even close to what I mean. Swing and a miss.
Right.
And they said, look, to make it more interesting.
Olympic diving, by the way.
We are, obviously, you've got the body. I've seen you in the Speedos. They said, we're going to pick one sport. You are going to pick one sport. Right. And we're going to have we're going to have a category, like a version of it, where all the athletes are either high on some really fun drug, but like, you know, Coke or...
I've got it.
Or they're drunk.
Yeah.
What sport are you going for and what are you going for? Drug,
Can I
whatever.
Bring in my own sport? Like I can invent...
No, it's got to be a sport that's at the Olympics.
Or see...
Just make up your... like.
Do you know the thing they make people do where they spin around a ball?
Yeah.
And then they have to take a penalty?
That's good, but that's not... I don't think there's plans to introduce that at the next Olympics. Shooting. Drug or drunk?
Both.
Oh, you could have both. And what drugs, rather, would you go for? What kind of drugs? Uppers, downers?
Mushrooms.
Yeah.
Maybe ayahuasca. Really fuck some shit up. Like, that could be dangerous, actually, but definitely weed. You'd have to have weed in there. Maybe a bit of ecstasy.
But all shooting.
Yeah. Shooting. And like maybe even throw human targets in there.
I feel like the ICC may not sign off on this.
Animals?
Or the OCC, whatever they're called. Animals? Again, I feel like they might not sign off on it.
Like something like chickens that we murder regularly.
Equally,
anyway.
I think, again, doesn't currently exist in the Olympics.
I just feel like you're limiting my options.
I am limiting because that was the question.
So we're going shooting. Olympic diving would be good. Someone tripping balls from
looking
20
down
feet.
At a pool of firing eyeballs or something.
Yeah. With people chanting and screaming and clapping. That would be awful.
Yeah, that'd be the tits.
Hilarious. People just clinging on to the board for
that'd
dear life, waiting to come
for
down.
Safety, I feel like it's got to be the 3-meter diving board.
20,
I don't think we can go higher.
Nothing. 20
I don't even think there is a 20-meter diving board.
What's the highest one?
I think 10.
No, there's like the proper fuck off ones.
I think that's 10.
What about cliff
10
diving?
meters. When you think about this, right? Yeah, cliff diving. But you think how tall you are.
Yeah.
Just shy of 2 meters.
Right. Yeah, I think you're being a bit
so
of
you
a pussy. It's 5
of you.
Yeah.
And a bit.
Yeah.
So it's like 5.5 of you.
I feel like 10's a pussy
tall.
height.
Next time we should go to a pool.
Yeah.
With a 10-meter diving board.
No, I'm not saying I'd do it.
No. You've thrown the gauntlet.
I'm not saying I'd do it.
No, but you can stand.
I'm not an athlete.
No, but you can.
I may look
that's your
like
get
one.
out. That's your get out.
I may look like
But you
one.
can stand at the bottom and shout "pussy."
And I have zero experience with drugs.
All the kids jumping up. I'm legally absolutely the right thing to say.
Yeah. So
But
I'm
as all
not.
the kids are
I'm
jumping
not equipped
off.
for the activity.
You can be like, "Pussy, why don't you do a proper one? Why don't you go jump off the roof? Why don't you set a paddling pool in the car park and jump off that, you little bitches?"
Well, no, that's not safe.
20 metres though, isn't it?
No, it's not safe.
It's just,
I swear there's like 20-metre diving boards.
I'm going to look it up.
Please do.
You
I know I'm right.
I know you're not.
I know I'm right. There's got to be a 20-metre diving board out there. People write in, tell us what you think.
The height of the platforms, 10 metres, 5 metres, are 7.5 and 5. And then there are 3 metre and 1 metres.
So there's not even a 15?
Is there a 20 metre
diving board?
Probably in some like backward state. Probably in Florida, they've probably got
Bet
one.
in Korea.
Let's have a little look. No, it's high diving. It's like its own category.
Well, fine. They do high diving in the Olympics, or do they not do that?
No, it was like a short-lived thing.
So fine.
They did it at the
we
World
will change it
Championships
to
and
a
they got rid of
10 metres synchronised diving on mushrooms.
Yes, the synchronised. I like that.
Yeah. It's just going
I'm all in.
Fucking messy. What about you? What are you choosing?
Judo.
Right.
Or one of the martial arts.
And what are they doing? Drunk or?
I think again, drunk or
drugs.
But it's got to be something absolutely trippy.
It's got to be
LSD or something.
Yeah, I don't know if mushrooms or ayahuasca you're going to be in a fight.
No, LSD maybe.
Yeah. Maybe.
Acid. Pop some acid.
What about coke?
That could be good.
Yeah, that would be so aggressive.
Bit of MDMA.
There'd be a lot of injuries.
MDMA, it's like.
Yeah.
Or drunk, yeah, drunk's equally good. Just blokes taking a swing and missing each other. That'd be it.
Yeah.
Hit me with something.
I've got some listener correspondence.
Have you?
One second, I just needed to wet the whistle. Right.
Hit me.
This was the one I wanted to do. Dear Crossing Swords, I'm a woman aged 28 and I've been dating a guy who's 21.
Told you to stop reading my diary.
And
not appropriate.
You're not a woman, are you? Or have you re-identified?
But I am dating a guy who's 21.
Okay.
No, how old was he?
He's 21.
He's 20, yeah, no.
And in his final year at uni, we met through his older brother, who's a friend of mine. At first it was awkward, as his brother thought it was weird, but he's moved on and seems to accept that we're dating. However, I'm starting to have a few reservations about the relationship. My boyfriend is very good looking, and then she puts in brackets, the main attraction initially, as well as interesting and funny. However, I'm starting to have I'm just not sure whether he takes us seriously and thinks I'm a novelty being older. It wouldn't surprise me if he's cheated, not because he's a horrible person, but because he's very young, living in halls with lots of girls his own age. He gets so much attention from women, and then again in brackets, and men, because he's so handsome. Also, even though I'm not old, I do feel that way around him sometimes, and I'm definitely looking for a relationship. He's told me he wants to go to the US after uni and travel a bit, but I've already done that and want to focus on my job.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Should I end this now before it becomes more serious, or should I fight my insecurities?
No, I'm gonna say how I call it, and then I'm going to expand. End it.
Yeah, and
then I'll expand, because I think that's the problem. That's the biggest problem with age gaps. Once you're kind of like quote unquote mature adults,
yeah.
The problem then with age gaps is not a creepy thing. It's that you're because you're both old enough to make informed decisions. And you're both old enough to consent to it, but you're at different stages of your life.
Yeah.
Like that is a prime example. He's at the young stage of his life. He's just done the education route, and now he wants to go and explore and live life and make some memories and travel. And she's already done that. So she's at the point where she wants to settle down and she wants to start looking forward, but he's not there yet.
You're completely wrong for one another.
Yeah. So I think you've got to end it now before it gets too bad. I think we're doing him a discredit to suggest that he may have cheated. That's based on based on insecurities.
Yeah, that is just all. I'm not going to indulge that part of it. I thoroughly believe that if someone wants to be with you, they'll be with you, and you need to trust them. unless they give you reason.
So you're saying, but you're saying same as me, end it.
Yeah, I think like I've never been in a relationship with that sort of age gap, so it's difficult. But I think what it comes down to, and I remember I had a friend years ago who was dating someone a fair bit older than him, and it was quite a while ago, and he wasn't sure what to do, whether there was a future. I said, look, what it comes down to is in 5-10 years' time, are you going to be happy with them? Are you going to have the things with them that you'd like to have in your life? And just fundamentally, do you want the same things? So you need to ask, particularly in that situation, like he's too young to start asking him, like, do you want kids? Do you want to get married? He clearly doesn't. He might do one day, but right now, no.
Obviously, I am in the dating game.
Yeah.
And I've definitely dated people who we are just at different points in our lives. Like, we just want different things out of it. Yeah. I'm still at that point of wanting to explore and wanting to travel and wanting to experience life. And I want to settle down, but I don't want to settle down now.
No, that's fair enough. How do you feel about kids? Just
they're all right.
Do you want them?
No, do I want them? I know what you were asking. I know it. It's a little tease there. It's a little humorous.
I knew you know.
It's the wit I'm famed. It's the wit I'm famed for.
Always. And there's that humility that you're famed for as well.
It's always present, ever present. I would like kids.
Yeah.
I'll throw it out there, and that's come up before.
Yeah.
In a it didn't get. I wouldn't say it ever got as far as a relationship, but we would date. I was dating someone and came up. They didn't want kids. And
was that a deal breaker for you?
Well, we both kind of mutually agreed. So we went on a little bit. I think we went on one more date.
Yeah.
Might have been 2. I might be getting that wrong. But we kind of said, look, because it did change a bit after that. It was, look, I was sort of saying, I think I do want kids. Yeah. And I'm not, obviously not going to compromise and spend the whole relationship badgering you for something that you don't want. And that's not fair. And equally, she didn't want me to resent her for it by saying, yes, let's just carry on.
The big risk you run is that, and it happens to people, they really like someone, but they want fundamentally different things. And some people in that situation are like, well, maybe if I give it a bit, they'll just love me so much that they'll change their mind and want what I want.
And sometimes they think, well, you don't want it now, but in 5 years, in 10 years.
But I think in her question, she answered her own question just by telling us the situation. They're at completely separate, completely different ends of their 20s, and 20s is a very interesting time.
In that relationship there, you would resent it if she'd had the experiences that you wanted and didn't get to have.
Well, the thing is, otherwise you run the risk of her guilting him into not going for what he wants, which is going travelling. And then in 5-6 years' time, when he's settled down with you and his mates are all talking about the amazing experiences.
Well, not just his mates, she is. Yeah. Because she's done it and he didn't.
And you're sat there going, oh, well, I didn't have that. You are going to end up resenting her. So I
100%.
think, unless you are happy to compromise and have a conversation with him about it.
Best thing for both of them.
But I think, probably from what she's told us, the best decision is to end it.
Agreed. That was very nice, very serious, very helpful.
I think we handled that quite well.
Allow me to change the tone.
Please do.
Allow me to change tone.
You do that quite well.
I bring the tone down.
You do.
Regularly. Okay. Now, this is a bit of a thoughtful one.
Oh, one second.
Mama like that. Mama like that.
If you had to get rid of one letter, what would it be?
Z. Or X. No, Z.
And can we try and now have a conversation without it? So you're getting rid of all the, the nicknames from school where you just added a Z on the end.
I didn't really do that. I can't think of any names that I would add a Z to.
Well, you'd be like,
I'm not going, Jake Z.
Well, yeah, you'd be like,
I could just change it to Jake C.
Biggs. And.
Yeah, I can live without that. Although I like doing it occasionally.
Z's solid. I don't think you miss much.
No, I feel like what I just made a very quick judgment call.
Animal House.
To the row.
To the row?
To the row.
But what would you call kangaroos in Australia?
Kangaroos.
But they're the row. They're the row.
They're the row.
They're the row.
Where do the rows live? In the row.
In the row. The row in the row. You're doubling up on meaning.
Yeah. Why not?
Dangerous game.
What the English do.
Right? Dangerous game that.
Or slightly, if it makes you feel uncomfortable, add a H at the end, but it's silent. That's the great thing about the English language. You just do anything with words, say that there's a rule, and then break it.
Dangerous game, that, but I'll go with it.
It's the British language.
I'll go with it.
What about you?
Well, you've made a good argument for Z, to be quite frank.
That's a rare... I'm Jimmy Bullard in this situation. I call it, I distribute, and I deliver. Just straight off the bat, Z, gone.
Yeah, you have, and I don't think...
I talk about sex too much to get rid of X. That was why I very quickly U-turned on that.
Having the set.
Well, otherwise, like...
What do you say to making love with,
like,
you've got to...
Babe, could you imagine
bang?
saying to your missus, do you want to come make love with me? That sounds creepy.
Babe, can I hit that?
Babe, do you want to bang?
Babe, should we clap cheeks?
Can I clap that ass?
Look at that ass.
Do you know what I mean? What else could you say? Do you want to have a bit of how's your father?
bit of hanky panky, dear.
I remember when I used to listen to Nick Ferrari, whenever he was referencing sex, instead of saying it, he would either play ladies and gentlemen as the way of, instead of, or saying how's your father.
Yeah, a bit of rumpy pumpy.
Yeah. No, I think, like, when you, and it's difficult, you're not in a long time, but you'll find that you just go, do you want to have sex?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But you don't say, do you want to make love?
No, I've never said that.
Not yet.
Said that in my life. It's implied.
Could come.
Do you
It's
know what I
implied. Yeah, the love making is implied. It's always sensual, even when it's not.
So everything I do, there's a sensual element.
You can't get rid of it.
No, it's
embedded.
It's in the air we breathe when I'm around.
I don't want to breathe the air around you when you're having sex.
You really do.
Well, it's very musty and musky.
There's just a lot of presence.
That's one word for it.
Yeah.
It's not the word the scientists used.
It's happening.
It's not the word the forensics used, but it is a word.
You know it's happening.
I know that. You keep sending me messages.
Only a couple of times.
Just at the start and then halfway through.
Yeah. So, like, within 30 seconds, I'd send you 2 texts.
And then you were done.
Yeah.
Well, goodbye, Zed.
Yeah, Zed's gone. Zed's useless. Like, the only word that I thought might be complicated was sneeze, but I'd just swap it with an S.
What? A sneeze?
Yeah, but just pronounce it the same way.
Yeah.
Sneeze.
G's. You couldn't say G's anymore.
No, because it's
jizz.
gays,
You couldn't say jizz.
I do like using the word jizz.
I do like jizz.
I do like jizz.
Baby gravy. It's going to have to be baby gravy.
I do love using the phrase baby gravy.
It's going to have to be baby gravy.
It's grim, but it's amazing.
Well, there you go. Zed's gone. Hit me with something.
Oh.
You weren't prepared, were you?
No.
You got complacent, didn't you?
This was another good one. Because it's a subject we've talked about in private.
What I like is that it implies that some of them are bad. Like, this one is good. This is another good one.
Yeah.
This is good.
It's from our listeners. They're all good. Dear CrossingSwords, my husband and I are in our early 30s and 2 of his friends from his university days are getting married. He lived with them and a few other mates for a couple of years in a house share, then moved out when we got together. These friends have invited us to the evening do at the pub, but I found out that the rest of the people my husband shared the house with are going to the daytime ceremony. Even some good friends of ours who the groom only knows through my husband. And they are going to the actual wedding too. I feel quite hurt on my husband's behalf, and I told him we should turn down the invitation, but he said he doesn't want to be petty and he would like to see everyone. I don't get why they'd be mean like this, and while my husband might not be bothered, I am. We invited everyone to our wedding for the whole day, so this really feels like a snub. I don't know what to do, and I can't think of anything my husband has said or would do to make them exclude him like this. He's the most easygoing person ever. Should I confront the groom or his fiancée?
No.
Yeah.
I think the easy answer is here for me.
Yeah.
And I know that's what you want. You want our opinions. For me, wife, sit this one out.
Yeah.
And let your husband go in the evening.
They're not really your friends.
Just let your husband go in the evening.
Yeah. If you're really that insulted.
Because you're going to be bothered by it.
But the thing is, that's going to be noticed.
But then just be honest and say, look, I think she had a bit of a problem with the fact that...
There is a weird politics around weddings, though, isn't there? Because, like, we've talked about in the past, like...
Can I just say...
Yeah.
Are you just giving us that dilemma because you only plan on inviting me to the evening do? at your wedding?
I think it's safe to say, considering we podcast together, and
I might be part of the.
You know, and you're one of the best men. It would be weird if you weren't invited to the ceremony.
Jake couldn't be here.
Look, bro, you just didn't make the cut.
Jake couldn't be here today because we didn't want him. So
he's just coming for the meal.
See him afterwards.
But no, like we've had the conversations of like these people we probably wouldn't like, and it's weird when you sit down with your partner and you're like, right,
you got to try and categorise your friends.
Yeah, and then you have to start being really brutally honest about who am I close with, who am I not close with, and like the thing is also, weddings aren't cheap, man.
No,
and like, and also, however insulted you might feel, it is their special day. Like you don't know their reasoning behind it, and to be honest with you, in reality, it's not really your business. It could be all sorts of things. Your husband might not be as close with those people as those other friends are now.
Time how you grow apart.
Yeah, and so like I think you have a right to be upset if you did invite them to your wedding, but also that's
your decision. It's not expected reciprocation, is it?
No, I think some people do expect it.
100%. Not just with weddings, but with birthdays, Christmases, all that kind of stuff. There is a kind of.
And like, look, to be fair, I could see myself being annoyed if some of our friends didn't invite me to their wedding, but at the same time, with how much they cost per person, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? And you're going to get to see everyone in the evening. That's the fun bit anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you can still go have a good time.
You do feel a little bit like an. I've been to a couple of weddings.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to a few weddings and I've been to a couple of evening dues, and you do feel a little bit like the spare part. You do feel a little bit like,
yeah,
I was good enough for this, but I wasn't good enough for that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't. Yeah. It's because it doesn't cost as much. It's that simple.
Yeah, and I think the husband's got the right idea. He just wants to see his mates. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a very mature approach to just.
Yeah, so I think you've just either got to keep your mouth shut, love, or don't go.
Wonderfully misogynistic at the end there. Just true to form. Exactly. I love it.
Women just want to cause you problems, Jake.
That bitch is drama.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what I'd say to that bitch if I was married to her?
Hasta la vista, baby. Thank you.
Yes. Or
another man who loves women. What can I say?
Or as I like to say, following sex. Forgive me. Forgive me.
Oh, I don't know if I have that one anymore. No, this is what you say pre-sex.
Get stuff.
That's what you
or
say.
During.
You say, babe, can we make love? I say, babe.
Yeah.
And I'm usually naked.
And I think that's as good a place as if you want to buy any of Jake's nudes, Jake, tell the people where they can buy them.
Well, I sort of come to you. I've got them in like an overcoat. I sort of open up.
Yeah.
And then I've got them hanging down.
Yeah.
Facing out. You don't give the wares away for free. Okay? I learnt that lesson the hard way.
Our website needs to be called The Overcoat, doesn't it?
Oh, The Overcoat. Because you have to open the overcoat. Up
and the pod's badge comes out. Do you know what I mean?
Swords cross.
Yeah.
A cross from either side of the page.
From his crotch.
From
his crotch, which is blank like Ken, but two swords just appear.
A sword appears. The coat pops out. A sword comes up towards the screen and it just says, care to touch tips?
Is this something Andrew could deal with? He's our IT guy. Should we make him the official IT correspondent of CrossingSwords?
He doesn't get a choice. We just go, this is our idea. And do you know how Musk kind of goes, this is what I want to do it? That's what we do. We say, this is what we want to do it.
So, Andrew, when you listen to this, I expect by the time I'm back from Lindsay's, there to be a website called theovercoat.com that you're paying for, by the way. That you can do all the design work for. You've heard our concept to make it happen.
And what we want is because
I'm the Steve Jobs in this situation where I will throw your computer in the water if you don't succeed.
And okay? I'm the Tim Cook. I just come in for the money at the end.
Yeah, when I've died of cancer and you somehow inexplicably survived
I'm in your place.
Assassination attempts.
Then I've got full control.
I think that would make me really sad. If I was
you wouldn't know you're dead anyway. You wouldn't know, would you?
No, but if I was dead set on murdering you before I died and I failed repeatedly, I would be.
You think on your actual deathbed you'd be quite?
If I'd failed if it was something I'd set my mind to and I didn't succeed,
I would.
Because I even think going through chemo, I could take you in a fight. I'm going to be honest with you.
I would wait until you're on your. If I've survived your assassination attempt, I'd wait till you're in your deathbed and you've got, like, let's say it happened now, like you get ill and in the next couple of years you pop your clogs.
Yeah.
So you're standing there. I'm imagining you've got Leanne, your mum, your your sister, standing around the bedside, and I'm just going to wait until I think you're on your last knockings and just do this from behind them kind of thing, like...
Still alive.
And then back away into the darkness, and it's going to be your
just
haunting.
Don't, from the moment I get my diagnosis to, I'd say at least a couple of months after I've died, don't drive your car.
Even after you're planning that far ahead, so even after you're dead?
Well, yeah, because I reckon there's a chance I've had a word with someone and they might still do it for me. So I get you from beyond.
But what
grave.
incentive have they got once you're dead to do it?
I would have paid them.
Yeah, but then they've got the money and they're not...
I've made them sign
if someone pays you,
legal contract.
Like if someone pays you to do
when
a
I'm
job,
dead,
if someone pays you to do a job and they go, here's the money up front.
No, they won't get paid until they fulfilled the job.
Who's checking this?
I've predated a wire.
Are you including someone like Leanne in your...
No, I'll
well, you can't
handle it all
predate the
myself.
wire because then they'll get the money anyway.
Well, no, because you can set a date.
Yeah, you set the date and then on that date they
Well,
get
fine.
the money anyway.
I will give-
I'm just saying, what's the incentive to do the job if someone's giving you the
I'm
money
gonna
and then they
find
die so they can't
my
check on
own
you?
Saul from Better Call Saul or Breaking
And he'll be
Bad.
the broker. He'll
And
kind of
be
fence
the
it.
middleman, yeah, for a cut.
It's a good job I'm here because you wouldn't have thought these things through, okay?
I would have.
You'd have just given someone money. You'd just given them 20 grand or whatever it costs to get someone killed.
Oh, good, he's going to kill Jake.
You'd have sold your Porsche. You'd have given the proceeds.
Borleand still not got a house.
And then you're dead. You're not getting chased up.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no one's coming after you. The dude who paid you's dead. You know, where's the incentive to finish the job?
Like I said, I'd set up the situation properly.
If someone paid you to do a job, I'm not saying necessarily murder,
I'm an honest man.
but they paid a job and then they died, but they paid you up front, would you still do the job?
Depends what the job was.
What would you say?
If it was to clean their house, well, no, they're dead. I don't need to now.
Okay, so even though they explicitly said, like, look, even though I know I'm going to be dead.
Well, no, if they paid me to clean their house after they've, cleared their house after they've died, then yeah, I'll do the job.
Here's the money.
Yeah.
Please keep cleaning.
But if they just wanted me to do a general clean while they were alive, but they've just died, I'm pocketing the money.
You're taking the money and running.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is some level where you're human.
Yeah.
I'm taking, okay.
Yeah.
We heard it here first.
But yeah, Jake, tell the people the socials.
Yeah, sure. I got really distracted by that. My own
I don't even
murder.
know how we
Planning
got
my own murder. Helping you. You incompetent fool. So the socials. Was I doing the socials? I was doing the socials. At Swords Crossing on Twitter.
Yep.
At CrossingSwords_podcast on Instagram and TikTok. I'm trying to slow it down. I'm always very quick, I find, and you're very calm and composed when you speak. I'm very quick. I'm going to try and... They can email us, CrossingSwords19@gmail.com.
They can.
They can find us just on Facebook. They can find us on YouTube by searching Crossing Swords Podcast. That's how I found us.
Yep.
Or Crossing Swords in the name of the episode. Equally, the link to YouTube will be in the description
Of every episode.
Every episode that you're listening to, wherever you're listening to it, please like, subscribe, rate it.
Yep.
If that's an option, do it.
It massively helps.
Go onto social media, share our posts, share the videos. Please, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And if you're on YouTube, open it up. You don't actually have to watch it. Have it on in the background, mute it, and then like it at the end.
Yeah.
It makes a massive difference.
It does.
And subscribe.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Just do it. Stop being an asshole.
Stop being don't be a pussy.
Don't
You're the
be
kind
a
of person who
pussy.
dives off a 10-meter diving board, aren't
Yeah,
you little
not a
bitch?
21.
Yeah, you little bitch.
Do you know what? When I have my own swimming pool made, I'm going to have a 20 metre
A 20-meter diving board that you're never going to go on.
Just to prove to you
No,
that they make them like
and
that.
so you can bring me over and go, told you, and that's it. That's the entire culmination of this thing.
Yeah, and then I'll have it taken down again.
Perfect. No notes.
No, and I think that's the perfect place to leave it.